They don't come with any interchangeable. Hey, how's it going everyone? This is DCSG81 and today I would like to do a review for this Marvel Legends, the Ravager Thor, as well as the Mighty Thor together. Yes, so since I got them both together, so I was thinking why not just review both together. And let's check out the box. I kind of like the box design because they are very compatible with each other because they're from the same wave. So even if you're not opening them up, it looks very good just displayed like this. The back of the box, you can see a very cool drawings of both Jane as well as Thor. And this is the entire wave of the series. And the front of the box looks great as always. I kind of think that this Jane actually looks pretty good. As well as this Thor, his sculpt is not that bad as well. So let's open them up. Okay, so this is Thor and Jane right out of the box, and let's go with the ladies first. The moment that I took her out, wow, I just love, I can't believe I'm saying that, I just love the cape. Yes, even though I'm not a big fan of this sort of like a rubbery cape, but this time around I think they did a great job because they actually make it thinner. I would say the material is thinner and it is not as heavy as those Thor or those guys with the cape. You know, it just feels heavier. This time around it's pretty light, and because of the material I believe, and it just kind of feels okay to me, even though still not a big fan, but I think it's okay. And the look of her just looks pretty good, and she's kind of light as well even with the cape, like I say. But as for Thor, well, he does have some weight over there as compared to this girl here. She is a lot heavier, I would say, and you can take a look at the sculpture. Is pretty good in overall. So let's check out the details first. Okay, so I kind of like his inner shirt. It's actually printed pretty well. Wow, I was kind of hoping they would use the other kind of joint, not this N shape kind, but it's still okay. I think it still looks good. The belt does looks good, and the jeans, wow, it's pretty nice overall. I don't really dig for this Ravager or casual kind of Thor look. Because of his look, yeah, I just can't help myself that I must get it, because you can see it's a pretty good head sculpt right over there. Wow, this is pretty good. And I always wanted my Thor to be can show off his bare hands, and yes, he got slim again. Very nice. And this is something like a different kind of Thor for me to have in my collection, so it does works pretty well, I suppose. And then we have this Jane here. Needless to say, she's awesome. I think we all should just need to have her. It's kind of hard to imagine there is a Thor in the female versions. And let's take a look at her armor. Wow, pretty good for Marvel Legends. Of course, there are some paint sketches here and there, but I think still okay. It's not a game stopper there. Yeah, it still looks good. This portion here is all soft rubber like the cape, and yeah, this looks good in overall. And yep, wow, she just looks good. I kind of want to see how the SH Figuarts version can compete with this one here. And the hair, yeah, it's like a big chunk of hair, but I believe that's how she looks like in the movie. And for her face, yes, I can certainly see Natalie Portman in some of, especially on the side view. You can see this one, yeah, from this angle, this looks very much like her. But from the front, yeah, maybe not so much, but it's still a good head sculpt, I would say. Yeah, pretty good. Now let's move on to the articulation, and this time I'll start with Thor because I would like to see whether his head will actually be hindered by the hair. So he can look to the right, look to the left. Wow, there's all good there because it's pretty soft. And looking up, yeah, he can't really look up because of this chunk of hair, and yeah, this is pretty hard at the back of the hair. So yep, he can't really look up. Looking down, yeah, still okay. And he tilt his head, yeah, maybe a little. His arm can turn 360 degrees. Moving up, yep, pretty much more than 90 degrees. And arm swivels, double joint elbow. His hand can move up and down, turning side to side. 2-point articulation as always. Can turn his waist. Bending forward, yup, pretty good. Bending backwards, yeah, not too bad. Kicking forward, yes, about 90 degrees there. Kicking backward just slightly. A leg swivels, double joint knee. His leg can move side to side, up and down. And there isn't any hinges on the shoe. And let's see how well this toe can do a split. Wow, that's pretty good. Next, I'll move on to Jane, of course. Let's see if her hair will actually hinder her head. And let's see, you can look to the right, look to the left. Yeah, the hair actually move along. So it's pretty good because they are soft like Thor as well. So looking out, I believe will be a problem. Yeah, she can't really look up because the back of the hair is slightly more harder as compared to those in front. Yeah, so she can't really look to the up. And look down, yes, I think looking down is pretty okay. Tilt her head, yeah, just slightly like Thor. And turning her arms 360 degrees. Yeah, it's gonna to have some hindering because of this portion of her armor, so she can't really have her hands lifted up straight. Yeah, just like this maybe. And moving her hands up, yeah, just about 90 degrees. She have arm swivels, a double joint elbow. Her hand can move side to side, up and down. 2-point articulation just like Thor. Her waist can turn side to side, but mine is pretty tight. Bending forward, yeah, just slightly. Bending backwards, yeah, not too bad as well. And I believe her legs articulation will be pretty much hindered by this portion here. So let's see how well she can kick forward. Wow, not too bad, slightly less than 90 degrees. Kicking backward, wow, even better than Thor. She does have a leg swivels, double joint knee. Her legs can move side to side, up and down. And she also don't have any hinges on her shoe as well. And I believe she can't really do much of a split. And wow, I was wrong. She can do the split as well as Thor because these pieces here are pretty soft. Wow, this is very good. It doesn't really hinder much of the articulations. And of course, there is no articulations on this piece of cape here. So yes, the articulation is pretty standard for both of it, and I'm pretty impressed with Jane because I was thinking she would have a lot more hindering, but there isn't any. She can articulate as well as this guy, so they are both pretty good. Now next, we'll move on to the accessory for both of them. I'll start with Thor. So Thor only comes with a Stormbreaker. Wow, you can see that the metal part is rather shiny and it just looks like they are using a real die cast over there. But the portion that is disappointing is the handle because it's rather flimsy, as you can see. And he also comes with the left hand of Korg. It's part of the Build-A-Figure. As for Jane, the Mighty Thor, she comes with a broken Mjolnir. Okay, so I kind of hope that they actually painted the crackings with the blue lining just like what is shown on the box. Yes, something like this will be great. And furthermore, this Mjolnir seems to be a little bit bigger than I thought. And this is like the next best thing for the Jane figure because she just comes with a mask head, as you can see. Wow, it just looks pretty good. This is very nice. And lastly, she also comes with the left leg of Korg. So yes, these are everything that they comes with. They don't come with any of the interchangeable hands, which are rather disappointing. At least Jane does comes with an interchangeable head, while Thor is just a Stormbreaker. Now next, we'll see how we can put on the Stormbreaker onto his hand. So I believe it should be rather straightforward. As you can see, the fingers are rather soft. You can just open it up slightly and just slot it in. Yep, just like that. As for Jane, it should be pretty much the same. The finger should be soft. Yep, so just slot in the Mjolnir and she's ready to go. To interchange her head, you just need to pull it out and just slot it back in like this. Okay, wow, she does looks very good with this mask head. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave her looking like this, looking very cool over there. If you are enjoying the video so far, do click on the likes button. Okay, so for the size comparison, I would like to compare with some Marvel Legends. So I have the Avengers Endgame Thor right over here. Yes, okay. And also the Captain Marvel from the What If series. And still on the Marvel Legends, I'd like to compare with the Doctor Strange and also Scarlet Witch from the WandaVisions. And next, I'd like to move on to some SH figures. I have the Captain America from the Cap versus Cap, as well as the Black Widow in snowsuit. Wow, you can see how small she is as compared to Jane here. And still on the SH figures, I'd like to compare with the War Machines, the Iron Patriot, as well as the Pepper Potts Rescue Armor. And next I'll move on to some Mayfax. I'll compare with the recently reviewed Homelander, okay, which is surprisingly shorter than him, as well as the Hush Catwoman as a female figure to be compared with Jane. And still on the Mayfax, I'd like to compare with the Brown Wolverine, which I believe should be shorter than him, as well as the last female figure I have in my Mayfax, Spider-Gwen. Okay, of course I do have Psylocke, but I have not opened up yet. Yeah, so she's the last one. And right now I'd like to compare with most of the Thor that I have. So let's start with the SH figures. I have the Avengers Assemble Thor, which is rather tiny as compared to him, and also the Infinity War Thor with the mandible head. And lastly will be the Mayfax Infinity War Thor, okay, which is also smaller than him, as well as the recently reviewed Avengers Endgame Thor. Now let's talk about the scale for both of the figure. As per my previous review for the Fat Thor from Avengers Endgame, Chris Hemsworth is about 1.9 meter tall. So after divide by 12, he should be around 15.8 centimeter. And let's measure him up. So 0 on the foot, it's about 17.5 centimeter at the top of his head. Yep, so he's much taller than he should be. As for Jane, she's around 1.6 meter tall, so when you divide by 12, it's around 13.3 centimeter. And let's measure her up. 0 at the foot and 15.5 centimeter tall. Yep, so she's also taller than she should be in terms of 1/12 scale. But as someone pointed out previously in one of my video comments, she said that I can't really measure it like that because Marvel Legends itself is actually made to be taller as compared to the standard 1/12 scale. So I do think they are pretty okay in terms of scale. They are usually big, so if they were to make them shorter and smaller, it will be pretty weird. Yep, so you can see their scale is pretty okay. I would say this is how they actually scale like in the movie itself. Now let's talk about the pricing for both of the figure. I actually bought them at the same price, which I still find is a very reasonable price for a Marvel Legends. When I converted it to USD, it's about 27 USD each, which I think is still okay. But in terms of the worthiness to get them, as for Thor, I would say is that the price is a little steep because of the limited amount of the accessory. He just basically comes with a Stormbreaker, even though it's a new sculpture, new look itself, so I still think that it's a little pricey. But as for Jane, yes, it's totally worth it because of the new characters, new head sculpt, new body sculpture, I believe. Everything is good, and even the accessory, they even give this mask head, which is pretty good. So I think she's very worthy to get. But for this Thor, it really depends on how well you like him in this attire. Now my final verdict for both of them based on all the star ratings so far, for Thor is going to be 7 out of 10, but as for Mighty Thor is going to be 8 out of 10. Yes, in terms of the overall look, I think both of them looks great. The head sculpt lightness is very good, especially for Jane. And the body wise, yes, I like it even for the rubbery cape. As for Thor, I think he looks good in this attire as well. This is at least something refreshing, something new look of Thor. But as for accessory, both of them are kind of limited. In terms of the articulation, I think they both articulate pretty well. That is rather surprising. So yes, in my opinion, Jane is a totally must-have from this Marvel Legends series. As for Thor, if you like a new look of Thor in your collection, then this is the one you should go for. So I do hope that you enjoy this double review, and I certainly hope that it helps you to decide whether you should grab both of them. And I'll catch you again in my next video. As always, I hope you will check out this video right over here.